My name is Craig, and I'm a huge thrift store junkie. Recently, I found a shoebox full of old cassette tapes when I was volunteering at a local thrift store, and the owner, Mr. Carlson, was kind enough to let me bring them home. He didn't have anything to play the tapes on, but had my dad's old cassette player, so he figured I would make better use of them than he would. Neither of us knew whether there was anything on the cassettes, but I decided it would be cool to see if there was. And if there wasn't, I could play around with them and record stuff of my own. So when I got home, I was really excited, and I got everything set up and played the first tape. It was really weird, but it was also quite interesting. Of course, I thought the people listening would love something like this, so I'm going to be transcribing them here. I also figured that you guys might be able to help me figure out what these tapes are talking about. You guys are great detectives. The person who recorded these tapes doesn't give a name, but it is a man. Sounds relatively young, probably no older than 40, but who knows, really. Tape 1. Hello, today is June 17th, 1985. It is 5 p.m. exactly. I don't really know what I'm doing recording this. I think I just need to get this whole thing out of my system. I don't have anyone to talk to right now. Not even my coworkers. I can't put them at risk. I'm at my apartment right now. I considered recording this while I was on my break, but I didn't want to risk anyone overhearing. We're, not supposed to talk about this kind of stuff. Even amongst employees, it's discouraged. But if I don't tell someone, I'm going to go insane. And maybe this will be able to act as evidence one day, if all this crazy stuff turns out to be real. I should probably give some more details. I have been an employee at a local pizzeria for about a year now, since it opened. I do a little bit of everything, but mostly I'm a cashier and a floor worker. The pizzeria is a franchise location of Showbiz Pizza Place, although most people just call it Showbiz. The location I'm at is relatively new. We were built a little bit before the company merged with our bankrupt competitor, Pizza Time Theater. If you ask me, our name is a lot cooler. There's a lot of rumors on why exactly it shut down, but ultimately, it just wasn't doing that great. We just had better locations, games, animatronics. They filed for bankruptcy in '84, so not too long ago. I guess I'll start talking about the rumors surrounding my specific location, though. Generally, we have the same rumors that follow our competitors, that we're not clean enough, we're overpriced, etc. I personally think that first one is ridiculous. I mean, compared to other pizzeria chains, we're as sterile as a hospital. Well, that's exaggerating a bit, but we're not that bad. The thing about Showbiz, though, is that we have a bad reputation involving guest safety. I know PTT had similar rumors. Pretty much every play place does. But at least ours have some truth to them. The first week we were open, and my first week here, one of the mascots got in trouble for being a bit too friendly with the kids, making excuses to hold them or hug them, breaking the rules and talking in the Billy Bob costume, reportedly to tell the kids how pretty they were. That situation got shut down extremely quickly though, and no kids were really hurt. My manager was watching the guy real close the whole week, and eventually called the police on the guy. He even punched the dude in the face, knocked him out, I think, when he tried to run for it. The guy got fired, and I heard later he shot himself after the police released him. Not enough evidence, apparently, since it was my manager's word against his, but everyone knew. So I guess he felt like he couldn't go on. Since he died, there have been weird things happening, like instances of a mascot wearer being creepy. We can never pinpoint who it is, and he never does anything but stand in a corner near the employee-only door. The kids can see him, and some of the employees who've been here longer can too. But none of the newbies or parents seem to know he even exists. Whoever this guy is, he always seemed to come and go without warning, and we'd never been able to catch him taking the costume off to identify him. Molly, the girl who usually runs Prize Corner, was always convinced that the mascot was a ghost. She's super into creepy stuff like that. I was convinced it's just an extremely sneaky pedophile, but I joked, rather darkly, that I'd rather have the ghost. Be careful what you wish for, huh? I've got to go. It's about dinner time and my roommate is home. I don't want him to know about this either. I can't lose him, too. Weird, huh? The name of the pizzeria sounds vaguely familiar. Like I probably just heard it through the grapevine. As far as I'm aware, there were never any locations near where I live. I'll ask around about it online. It might be related to Chuck E. Cheese, but I'll have to look into it more. I'll try to get the next tape up soon. I haven't listened to it yet, but I'm interested if he'll elaborate on that ghost. I think I'll wait until later to listen to it, though, because honestly, this tape kind of creeped me out. While I was listening, something tapped on my window. When I came back to sit at the table, there was a dusty sort of handprint on the recorder. It was really faint, but it was there, like someone had scrabbled at the button to open it. Well, I'm pretty sure it's just my own handprint, skin oil and stuff. I think I'll transcribe the next tape while I'm volunteering at the store tomorrow. Being with others can make spooky stories easier to handle. Part 2. Okay, so I did wait until I got back to the shop today to listen to the next tape. It's a Thursday, so it's rather empty. I don't have classes today. So today is one of the days I come in. I was actually pretty excited to listen to the next tape, but also pretty thoroughly creeped out, especially after what happened this morning. After the whole handprint thing, I packed up the tapes and kept them near me during the night, because I figured if something other than me did leave that handprint, it only went for it when I wasn't looking near it. Obviously, I couldn't watch it all night if I was asleep, but I was kind of hoping being close to it was enough. I think I was wrong. Normally I move a lot when I sleep, so when I use a pillow to hug, they usually end up across the room. That's normal. But the box which I held in my arms last night was still there. Only difference was I was holding it a lot tighter. That might not seem bad, but I only grip tighter while I'm asleep when someone tries to take what I'm holding, which my sibling can attest to. On the box were more handprints, just as light as before, but they definitely weren't mine. They were big and sort of blurred, like whoever made them didn't have clearly defined fingers. It's super weird, especially because the first was pretty small, but just as blurry. After that, I decided to keep the box with me no matter what. I think something might be trying to stop me from reading the tapes. But this could be something big. Or best case scenario, there's just a super sneaky raccoon in my house or something. Anyways, I got to listen to the second tape during the lull period at the shop. I hadn't told Mr. Carlson anything about the tapes, and I didn't play it while he was near. The guy on the tape said something about other people getting hurt listening in. Sharing through narration won't be a problem. It seems whatever is happening is only happening to whoever has the tapes, or is in the room with them. Mr. Carlson was in the storeroom while I was at the front desk when I played this. No customers. I'm being super careful about this, like you guys suggested. Here's tape 2. Okay, it's 5 p.m. again. I'm almost certain this is my only safe time. I can't risk someone else getting wrapped up in this. I've had the whole night to think about it, and I'm going to try and make this more coherent. I'll try and start from the beginning. My location is in St. Louis, Missouri. If anyone finds this, that's probably important. Proof and all that. Anyways, like I was talking about, that creep who shot himself? No, I'm not going to say his name. He could be listening. Molly was convinced that the creeper by the employee-only door might be him, as a ghost or something. We weren't sure for a long time, but we eventually got our answer. The costume started showing up around a week after what happened. And like I said, it mostly just watched. If you walked through the door while it was there, it would just keep staring ahead, but its plastic eyes would follow you in and out. But if Randy, the manager who knocked the creep out, walked by, its entire head would turn to follow him. I don't find the animatronics here creepy, but anyone would be hard-pressed to like this freaky Billy Bob costume. Randy stopped going through the door a day or two after that. But anytime the costume was there and Randy was on the floor in its line of sight, it would turn and watch, unless a kid came up to it. Most kids seemed to realize pretty quickly that the thing in the corner was not Billy Bob, or at least not friendly. The couple who seemed like they weren't sure got a friendly nudge in the other direction from one of the longtime employees who could see it. Any kids who told weren't believed because the parents couldn't see it. But a lot of kids came though, and we can't always keep up with them all. Usually we catch them when they're standing in front of it. We can normally run up and lead them away before it does anything. I've had to do it a couple times. I've heard it breathing. When a kid comes up, it gives its full attention. It stares into them, like it's never seen a kid before. I've heard it whisper to a few even. But when you get the kid, I can't describe the look it gives to you. It looks into your eyes as you take the kid's hand and lead it away. Plastic eyes shouldn't be able to show emotion, but you can feel that it hates you, that it wants to hurt you. I don't know why it didn't. Maybe too many people watching. There's only been one time we couldn't catch the kid in time, and I can't help but feel like it was my fault. There was a little girl. I remember her name was Jenny. Anyone would remember after all the news reports. After hearing her parents cry for her as they ran through the restaurant, unable to see the thing right in the shadowy corner. I remember that day. It grinned. The costume always grins. It's designed to. But after that girl disappeared, the grin was wider. Jenny was 7, I think. Had the cutest brown curls and light brown skin. She took after her mother. Her eyes were green, just like her dad. I had helped her not too long before it happened with getting some tickets out of a jam machine. I didn't pay attention to her face until it was plastered on posters that screamed, "Have you seen this child?" in bold letters. I don't know exactly what happened, but 10 minutes later, another employee came up to me. He was one of the newer kids, and he said there was a little girl talking to the wall by the door. Immediately I knew what was happening, and my heart almost stopped. We'd never had a kid talk to it before. Now I know that means it's too late. As afraid as I was, I ran like hell to the door, and across the room I could see her being led inside, Billy Bob's hand on her shoulder. It turned to look at me as they walked inside, and it grinned, and God, it hated me. I was a couple seconds too late, but they should have been there. I burst through the door right after the room was empty, save for the employee belongings and coffee machine. I was so afraid of what I'd seen, but I was praying that maybe it was just a hallucination. I'd rather be crazy than have something happen to a little kid. But when I left the room, there it was, grinning. And lucky me, apparently it hated me just as much as Randy, because it had finally turned its head to taunt me too. I remember running from the thing as fast as I could, convinced as I looked back it'd be right behind me. But another employee confirmed that it hadn't moved. I reported the girl missing immediately, and the search began. I only told Randy and a few other employees what I'd seen, and I was given an order to not get close to the door unless there was an emergency for my own safety. We searched all day for little Jenny, and we hoped any second that we'd find her. But I think deep down, we all knew she'd died the second that door had closed. Hey man, what's... I'm thinking this whole thing might have been a mistake. But if what this dude is saying is true, I don't think I can ignore it. That poor girl, I'm honestly close to tears thinking about how awful that must have been. I have a vague location, so I'll be working from there. I'm even a couple hours away from St. Louis, so I might do some on-site investigating, if possible. Hopefully I can figure out which location it was. I did a lot of research last night and didn't find anything about a missing girl, besides a bunch of FNAF shitposts. But if it was that long ago, it was probably only in local news. And who knows if that stuff would have ended up online. I've got to go. A customer's coming to the door. Gotta act professional. At least I have something to keep my mind off the tapes. Okay, there's a few more customers in now, but no one is at the checkout yet, and Mr. Carlson is helping an old lady. I hope I'm going insane, because out of the corner of my eye, I swear, I can see a Billy Bob costume watching me from the storeroom door. And I know it's him from my Showbiz research. I don't know what to do, but I'm going to keep my hands on those tapes and act like I don't see it. I'll update soon.